Good afternoon, children. In last class, we have studied reaction of reaction of metals and non-metals with bases. So in today's class, we are going to study the metal activity series, or else we used to call it as reactivity series of metals. So in last class, I have told you that some metals are chemically very reactive. Like that, if it comes to some other metals, they are less reactive or unreactive. So on the basis of vigorous of reactions of various metals with oxygen, how fast they are reacting and how slow they are reacting depend upon that is called as vigorous of reaction. Understand? So oxygen, water and acids, as well as the displacement reactions, so the metals have been arranged in a group. Understand? Or else we used to call it as series. We used to arrange it in a group or series according to their chemical reactivities. So that is only called as reactivity series of metals. So the reactivity series of metals means the arrangement of metals in a vertical column. Understanding? So you have to remember here. So the arrangement of metals in a vertical column like this. Vertical column in the order of decreasing reactivities. Remember, in the order of decreasing reactivities is called the reactivity series of metals. If you want to just note down the definition. So the arrangement of metals in vertical column in the order of decreasing reactivities is called the reactivity series of metals or activity series of metals. You can call it reactivity or activity series of metals. Understand? So few metals are reacting very more and few metals will react very less. So based upon their reactivity nature, how vigorous they are reacting. So high reactive elements will place it in first and low reactive elements will place it in bottom, and low reactive or unreactive elements. So in this reactivity series, the most reactive metal is placed at the top, whereas the least reactive metal is placed at the bottom. So the reactivity series of some common metals is that you just remember that. Later I will say. Okay, so you just remember, and for remembering also I will say you some statement also. So the most reactive element is, if we take potassium. Understand? So you have to remember that. So potassium, which the symbol is K, which is taken from the Latin word. You have to remember it. Okay, this is most reactive metal. Most reactive metal. Understand? So like that, next one if it comes to, that is sodium. Understand? Sodium. So sodium symbol is Ne. Like that you have to remember. This is called as metal activity series. So calcium. Next one is calcium. So the symbol is Ca. Understand? So like that, next one is magnesium. So magnesium symbol is Mg. Like that, next one is aluminum. Aluminium, the symbol is Al. Understand? So like that, zinc. So zinc symbol is Zn. Like that, iron. So iron symbol is what? Fe. You have to remember it. Few are taken from Latin words and few are taken from English words. Understanding? So here, please never call me a zebra. I like, yeah, like. Understanding? So next one is lead. Lead, lead. So lead symbol is Pb. Understanding? So like, so here one more, the only non-metal I am including here in this metal activity series is hydrogen, because hydrogen, even though it is a non-metal, it is exemption case, it will behaves like a metal. Means like metals. Why we used to call them as metals? Because they always will donate the electrons. Understanding? And like non-metals, they will receive the electrons. But hydrogen also, in like metals, it will behave here. So that is why we can include hydrogen also in the metal activity series. Understanding? So why it is in detail you will study in class 10th. You don't need to remember. So just now learn this reactivity series. So here potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen. So after that you have to go for, yeah, next one is copper. So let me come to the copper here. So COPP, yeah, copper, which symbol is copper. Understanding? Cu. So next one is mercury. So mercury symbol is Hg. Understanding? Like that. Please never call me I like hydrogen, call me A. Next one is what it is? Yeah, next one is silver. Silver symbol is Ag. Understand? So next one is platinum. So the symbol is PT, and last one is gold. So gold symbol is A. So here, what is going to happen? This is the gold is the least reactive metal. Least reactive metal. Understanding? And most reactive metal is platinum. Sorry, potassium. So now if you'll go from here, after this you have to continue down only. You have to write this also. So this is what? Decreasing chemical reactivity. You have to note it down. Decreasing chemical reactivity. Understand? So this is called as metal activity series, the reactivity series of metals. So here, please note that potassium is the most reactive metal. So it has been placed at the top of the reactivity series. As we come down the reactivity series, the chemical reactivity of metals decreases gradually. Understanding? So sodium is less reactive than potassium. Like that, calcium is less reactive than sodium. Like that, if it comes to the magnesium, magnesium is less reactive than calcium. Understand? So like here, if it comes to aluminum, aluminum is less reactive than magnesium. But if it comes to here, potassium is highest, most reactive than this one. Like that, if it comes to the sodium, sodium is less reactive than potassium. Means the element which is present above of some element, it is less reactive than that. But compared to this, all the elements, sodium is more reactive. Understanding? But less than potassium, but more than this all the elements. Understanding? So always in this reactivity series, you have to remember one thing. I will teach you that displacement reactions. Next type of chemical reactions we are going to study means fifth one, reaction with bases is over. Next one is called as displacement reaction. So there I will say displacement reaction. I will explain you that carefully. Later I will say you. But you have to remember this metal activity series. So here always you remember one statement I will say you. Always some element if you consider. So let me choose now zinc. So zinc cannot be displaced by the elements which is present below it, but zinc can be displaced by all the elements which is present above the zinc. Understand? So once if I'll explain the displacement reaction, you guys can understand that. So here, if it comes to the aluminum, aluminum is more reactive than zinc, but aluminum is less reactive than magnesium. Understand? So this is only called as metal activity series. So here, gold is being the least reactive metal, and here has been placed at the bottom of the reactivity series. Okay, so we should remember the reactivity series of metals because it will help us in understanding the next type of reaction that is called as displacement reactions. Understand? So now we will study that what is displacement reaction. But most of you guys can feel difficulty to remember this metal activity series. So for that, I will say you some statement. So if you remember the statement, that statement is called as mnemonic. MNO, mnemonic. Understand? So M is silent. Mnemonic we used to call it. So mnemonic means as a kind of a statement which can useful to remember the a few number of words together. Understand? So now let me come to the statement. Let me see. So here you just need to remember the symbols also because few are taken from Latin words and few are taken from English words. So that is why I'm saying you. But I will say you the statement. If you remember the statement, you guys can easily write this metal activity series. So if you want, you can try. So the series is potassium. So potassium, I will take the statement that is called as please. So please, first letter indicating what? Potassium. Understanding? So you can remember symbol is different. Understanding? But word is potassium. So the statement is please never, N-E-V-R, never call me a zebra. Till here, let me see. Please never call me a zebra. So if you'll underline the first letter, so this first letter always indicates either the English name or else the symbol of the element. Understanding? So if you'll observe here, please means potassium. Like that, never. So never indicates here what? Sodium. But the symbol is what? Na. So that is why I'm taking N. So you have to remember that. Sir, here S not came, then how, sir? It is not. That is why I'm saying you. So in this statement, you may get either the symbol or maybe the name. Understanding? So in potassium symbol, I am not getting, but P I am getting. So potassium, like that. So that is why you have to remember the symbol. So please never call me a zebra. So here N means don't write nitrogen. Nitrogen is a non-metal. Understanding? So N means what here? Sodium. The symbol is Na. Like that, C, calcium, matching. Magnesium, Mg. Like aluminum, A, understanding, matching. Next, zinc, zebra, matching. So please never call me a zebra now. I indicates what? Iron, but symbol is different. Understanding? I like. So here L indicates what? Lead. Understanding? But the symbol is Pb. So I like hydrogen. Hydrogen is hydrogen only. So I like hydrogen. Call me. Again call. So call me a. Understanding? Call me a pretty. For girl you can write girl, or else for boy you can write guy. Guy, your choice. This word, last word is your choice. For boys you can write guy, or else girl they can write girl. Or else if you are confusing, you just write girl only. So girl is good. Okay. So girl, if you'll see here. Now if you observe here also, please never call me. I indicates what? Iron. Like indicates what? Lead. H indicates what? Hydrogen. Now again call. C indicates what? Copper. Me indicates mercury, but symbol is Hg. Like that silver. Silver here also S is not coming, but A is coming. So Ag. Silver symbol is Ag. Understanding? Like that platinum P and G for what? Gold. But symbol of gold is what? Different. That is Au. Understanding? So this is only called as metal activity series. So this is not given anywhere in our textbook. This is for it is like my own thing which I have made it for the easy remembrance of metal reactivity series of metals. Please never call me a zebra. I like hydrogen. Call me a pretty girl. So if you remember this, you can write the metal activity series, and you can easily remember any element which is most reactive and which is less reactive also in this one. Okay, so this one is what? Least reactive metal. Least reactive metal. So you have to remember this. Understand the same thing you are going to study in class 10th also. Exactly the same. So that is why you have to remember. So this is only called as metal activity series. So now why we need to remember this means because next we are going to study the type of chemical reaction called as displacement reaction. So there this metal activity series will be useful. So you have to remember that. Understanding? So let me come to the next type of reaction, that is called as fifth one, I think. So fourth one is reaction with bases. So now comes to the fifth one, reaction, displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. So let me come to the displacement reaction. So you remember a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its salt solution. Means some kind of metal, when it is in the form of its salt solution, some more reactive metal will go and will react with that salt solution, and it will separate the metal which is present, less reactive metal which is present in its salt solution. So that is the meaning of displacement reaction. So displacement reaction means, understanding, let me take first one, a more reactive. This is comes to the metals, understanding. So a more reactive metal. If I'll say that example, you guys can understand. More reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from its salt solution. Metal from its salt solution. Is called as displacement reaction. So this means that when a more reactive metal is placed in the salt solution of a less reactive metal, the more reactive metal displaces or pushes out the less reactive metal from its salt solution. So the more reactive metal becomes a part of the salt, whereas the less reactive metal is set as free. It will come separate. So now let us take some examples to make this point more clear. So let me come to the example one, that is the first one. So reaction of iron metal with copper sulfate solution. So reaction, you just keep it. Reaction, understanding, of iron metal, understanding, with copper sulfate salt solution. Understanding? So this is reaction. So here you can see that. So when a strip of iron metal or else a piece of iron metal or else iron nail is placed in a copper sulfate solution for some time, then the blue color of copper sulfate solution fades and a red brown coating of copper metal is deposited on the iron strip or else iron nail. So this reaction is, let me imagine first, I will show you the diagrammatic. So this is, let me imagine this is the copper sulfate solution which is basically present in blue color. This is CaSO4, copper sulfate. You have to remember formula also I am saying you. CuSO4, copper, CuSO4, copper sulfate solution. Understanding? So copper sulfate solution which is present in blue color. Understanding? So now I am adding for the same solution, I am adding, understanding, a small iron nail. I'm adding small iron nail, and if I leave it for a few minutes, then I can see that the blue color is slowly disappears. Understanding? And understanding. So we used to get a green color solution. So this blue color solution will turns to, we used to get a green color solution. Green color solution. So, and we can see that iron nail will be normally it is in a grayish color. So we can see that on the surface of this iron nail, we used to get a red brown color powder like substance. So that is only called as, understanding, copper. So copper is separating from the copper sulfate solution, and it is separating as a free copper. Understand? So this reaction we can write like this. You can see that. So copper sulfate, CuSO4. I will write the word equation first. So this is the diagram you have to remember. Okay. So now if you'll observe how the reaction will be means, if you'll take the copper sulfate plus iron. Understanding? So which we used to get, iron sulfate plus copper is separate. Understand? So before reaction you can see that iron is separate, but after reaction copper is separate, because here iron is more reactive than copper. If you'll observe in the reactivity series which I have studied, so who is present first? Iron is present first. So iron can displace the copper. Understanding? Displace the copper from its salt solution. So the reaction, what is going to happen? CuSO4 is the salt solution of copper, plus it will react with iron. So iron is what? What is the symbol of iron? Iron symbol is Fe. So basically the copper sulfate is present in blue color. Understanding? So now Fe, which is present in basically a gray color. So now the reaction will take place. So here if you observe, the molecules, the atoms of iron is more reactive than copper. So some atoms, they will react with the copper. So this iron will react with this copper, and it will pushes out the copper from its copper sulfate salt solution, and it will combine, instead of copper, it will form iron. So if we used to get FeSO4 plus copper is separating, coming out free. Okay, so this FeSO4, how we can see that this blue color solution turns into green color solution. Understand? So greenish we used to call that. So greenish, understanding, greenish color, and this copper we used to observe that a red color powder like coating is formed on the surface of the nail. So red color powder, reddish brown we used to call this. This is red brown color coating will be on the surface of iron nail. Understand? So in this case, the solution turns greenish due to the formation of iron sulfate. So we know that iron metal is more reactive than copper metal. So in this reaction, a more reactive metal, iron, is displacing a less reactive metal, copper, from its salt solution. Understanding? Or else copper sulfate solution. So the products of this displacement reaction are iron sulfate solution and copper metal. So you please note that here the blue color of copper sulfate solution changes the, understanding, a greenish color due to the formation of iron sulfate, which is green in color. So the copper metal produces in this displacement reaction forms a red brown coating over the iron strip or iron nail which we placed in the solution. So in this displacement reaction, iron metal displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. Understanding? So this displacement reaction takes place because iron is more reactive than copper. So the displacement reaction between iron metal and copper sulfate solution can be even performed. I will show you that activity also. Now you guys can understand. So that very simple we have to take. You just take a 50 ml of water in a beaker. Understanding? So for that activity also, if you have, you just to do it. If you are having a copper sulfate crystals, you can do it. So just to take, understanding, 50 ml water. 50 ml of water in a beaker. This is water, and add 5 grams of copper sulfate solution, crystals. 5 grams of copper sulfate, CuSO4. 5 grams, just 5 grams of copper sulfate added to it, and try to stir it properly. So this copper water will be in transparent color. If you add the copper crystals, then it will dissolve, and this solution will be turns into blue color. Means that is why we used to call as this is a solution, copper sulfate solution. Understanding? So now, just to take some small iron nail. Understanding? Basically, iron nail will be present like this. So iron nail, you just take this iron nail and you just put it in this big understanding. So now you can see that you just leave it for undisturbed for some time. Then we can find that this blue color of copper sulfate solution starts fading gradually. Means the blue color is disappearing, and the iron nail gets covered with a red brown layer of copper metal. So the changes takes place because iron metal displaces copper. Once our school will open, we'll do this activity in our lab. So this takes place because iron metal displaces copper metal from its compound called copper sulfate. So it is the copper metal set free from its compound which forms a red brown layer on the surface of the iron nail. Understand? So iron nail basically it will be in gray color. So once if you displace if you keep in copper sulfate solution, we used to get like this coating of red brown powder. So that is only called as copper. Understanding? So this is the activity which we need to do it. So here you remember, suppose if we'll take the reverse reaction of this. So instead of copper sulfate solution, if I will take iron sulfate solution, means reverse just. If I will take iron sulfate, and if I will add the copper piece or copper something, copper sheet or something, then here, what is the product which we used to get? We used to get no products, because compared to the copper, iron is more reactive. So copper cannot displaces the iron. So here, no displacement reaction. No displacement reaction. That is the reaction shortcut is R into N. Okay. So that is the advantage of learning metal activity series. We can see that here, if you take copper sulfate solution, iron can displace. But if you take iron sulfate solution and copper, so no reaction will take place. We won't get any kind of products, because here reaction does not occur because copper metal is less reactive than iron. So a less reactive metal copper cannot displace a more reactive metal iron from its salt solution. So iron sulfate solution cannot separating again into copper sulfate plus iron, because it cannot. So copper metal cannot displace iron from its iron sulfate solution. Understand? So like that, let me come to that next reaction B. So reaction of zinc metal with copper sulfate solution. Let me take again, say the same thing. I will use the symbols now. CuSO4, copper sulfate solution. If we'll add the zinc, then we used to get the products called as, now the reaction will take place because zinc is more reactive than copper. So we used to get a product called as ZnSO4. You have to note it down. Zinc sulfate plus we used to get copper as a separate metal. Understand? But how we can find this solution, this reaction means basically copper sulfate solution will be in which color? Blue color. And zinc will be in basically silvery white. So now the reaction will take place. We used to get a zinc sulfate solution that is called as, this blue color solution will turns into colorless. Understanding? And we used to get this one as a red brown. Understanding? This is the thing which is happening. Suppose if you take reverse reaction, it does not take place because a copper cannot displace the zinc from its zinc sulfate solution. Means just to take the reverse reaction. Understanding? So here I am taking. So if you take the reverse reaction, that is ZnSO4 plus Cu, then no displacement reaction. No displacement reaction because copper is less reactive than zinc. Understand? So here also the reaction does not displace us. Understand? So like that, if you take next one, suppose you have reacted with iron sulfate and zinc. What is going to happen? You will see now here. So here if you take zinc sulfate plus copper, no reaction is taking place. So now suppose if you take next type of product called as the iron sulfate, FeSO4. If you take, so FeSO4 will start reacting with zinc. Then you can remember the metal activity series. Please never call me a zebra. Zebra is coming first. Means zinc is more reactive than, next one is I. I indicates iron. So compared to the iron, zinc is more reactive than iron. So zinc can displace the iron from its salt solution. So here reaction will happen. Again we used to get zinc sulfate plus iron metal. Understanding? But here the color will be again same thing. Zinc sulfate color is colorless. Iron is what? It is will be in a gray color. Zinc will be in a white, silvery white. But FeSO4 color, we know that in first reaction, what is the color of this one? That is greenish color. Understanding? Greenish color solution. So this is the reaction. Understand? Now if the same reaction, if we take reverse, suppose ZnSO4 plus Fe, then we used to get no displacement reaction. No displacement, because iron is not more reactive than zinc, so zinc cannot be displaced by iron. Understanding? So this is all about reaction. So now here, if we'll take magnesium metal, understanding, magnesium can displace the zinc, iron and copper metals from its salt solution, because magnesium is more reactive than zinc, copper and iron, but no metal can displace us, like zinc, iron, copper cannot displace the magnesium metal. Understand? So this is all about the displacement reaction. So now in this displacement reaction, this is all for what? This is for displacement reaction of metal, means a more reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from its salt solution. Now we'll see a more reactive non-metal displaces a less reactive non-metal from its salt solution. But in this class 8, it is not required, because all the non-metals cannot displaces the means they cannot show the displacement reactions. Only highly more reactive non-metals can show the displacement reaction. So the displacement reactions we'll study in class 10th. Now it is not required to you. You know need to remember. So you just write it. A more reactive non-metal cannot displace. Understand? Displacement reaction cannot show in non-metals. Non-metals cannot show displacement reaction, but few non-metals can show. That we'll study in higher classes. So it is not there for class 8. So you no need to remember also. So this is all about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So if you take chemical properties of metals and non-metals, we can differentiate. If they will ask you in the form of tabular column, you can differentiate it. So metals form basic oxides. Non-metals will form acidic oxides. Metals react with water, or including a hot water or steam, to produce hydrogen gas. Understanding? Except few metals is there, except copper, silver and gold, which is less reactive than, which is the metals which is present below in the metal activity series, they cannot produce hydrogen. Understanding? So here if it comes to here, non-metals do not react with water or steam. Understanding? Like that, metals react with the dilute acids to produce hydrogen gas, and non-metals do not react with dilute acids. So like that you have to write it. Displacement reaction. Metals will show the displacement reaction. Most of the metals, like it means like a more reactive metal can displaces the less reactive metal. So here also, except copper, silver and gold, which do not react with any kind of understanding. If it comes to the acids, acids also, they like these metals, copper, silver, gold, mercury, these all cannot react with dilute acids. Like that, if it comes to the non-metals also do not react with dilute acids. So this is all about the differences. Just if you write the chemical properties of metals in one tabular column, another non-metals another tabular column, then that will become the differences in chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Understood? So now with this, I'm going to end this today's class. So in next class, we're going to study the next important concept is uses of metals and uses of non-metals. Understanding. So later we will study. I think with this later, I think we are going to study the corrosion. I think something is there, metal corrosion or something. If it is there, I will teach you. If not, I won't. Okay. So with this, I'm going to end this today's class. Thank you. Have a nice day.